just gonna go out and say it. The ending to Kirby games are some of the best endings and final boss battles that I think Nintendo has ever produced. And HAL Labs really comes up with some absolutely insane endings. I mean, seriously, you'll start off the game like, la-di-da-di-da, let's collect some flowers, and then it's just... Kirby games just have a tendency of being so calm and so easy and so gentle to you in the very beginning, but then the very end, they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a king of the lions, and there's aliens as well, and also this alien can morph into different things and consume everybody around him and turn into a big old blob of ugliness. Yes, that's the thing. But seriously, I think Kirby games have the best endings of any Nintendo game. Seriously, they're so well thought out of, and not even just the final boss, but just the whole, landscape around everything, how cinematic it feels. It just feels like it's really the end of the game. And in order to really tell you why that is, I want to kind of go through what makes them so great. And in order to do so, let's see where this even began. When did this crazy Kirby ending kind of thing start? Well, it doesn't start with the first game, but instead the first game that probably a lot of people remember, Kirby's Adventure on the NES. You just fight King Dedede and everything seems normal until you finally see that there's a darker threat to be, destroyed here, and that's Nightmare. You have 3 separate battles with them where you have to fight King Dedede first, then Nightmare in some type of floating ball form using the Star Rod, and then eventually Nightmare while you're on the ground using the Star Rod. You see the same thing happen with Dreamland 2 and Dreamland 3 as well with Dark Matter. We just fight King Dedede until his stomach kind of opens up into a weird freaking mouth. Like, Dedede is in pain. Of course, that leads into the battles with Dark Matter, which is a floating eyeball. And I think the actual lore is he just wants to make friends with everybody, but he's just really bad at it. So what does he decide to do? Possess everyone in the land and then turn into a giant bleeding eyeball and then continue to chase Kirby even in bleeding eyeball form. Why? It's like, how did they get away with this? Do they do it again? Yes! But I'll tell you what, Kirby games are extremely consistent when it comes to having multiple different bosses to battle and followed up by just a giant cinematic final boss. It really does make the game feel grand, to the point where I think a lot of Nintendo games don't really have that. Seriously, HAL Labs is the only company in the world that can make a piece of yarn threatening. I feel like it's just that premise of having multiple bosses in a row, kind of like a mini boss rush at the end of the game that kind of just puts the cap on top of everything. I feel like a lot of games are just brilliantly made, and then you finally get to the end after that long, hard-earned adventure, and then you step on a switch and drop Bowser in the lava. But Nintendo Land, there's a part 2! Bowser gets big! Meanwhile, my boy Kirby's shooting himself out of cannons, flying through space as a spaceship, shooting a supercomputer, and even sucking up the whole bad guy like a big old noodle. How many games have you played where you could suck up the bad guy's health bar and then spit it at him? Now, I'm not necessarily saying that having multiple final bosses in a row makes it better. Yeah, I'm saying that. These multiple bosses just kind of tie together to make the final boss even better. I mean, one prime example is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, a brilliant game with stunning bosses all the way throughout the entire game. And then you get to the final boss. I feel like just not enough people give Kirby credit where credit is due. Their final bosses are immaculate, like seriously insane. They bring out some of the most craziest concepts and the craziest set pieces. I mean, seriously, look at Star Allies. You're in the middle of the galaxy fighting this creature of lore. Seriously, with your friends. It's amazing. And then it's like, oh, well, we gotta fight its core. Let's go into its neck. And then you go inside and see some weird, like, Kirby's long-lost son or something.
It's been a year, Daddy. I really, really miss you.
I mean, for Kirby's first 3D outing, they could have literally just had us battle King Dedede and called it a day. They said, no, King Dedede's hungry now. Now he's gonna chase you like a dog. Then they're like, okay, after that, now you battle the leader of the Beast Pack. That makes sense. The King Lion. Yeah, of course. That would obviously make sense. Oh, well, now the lion's possessed by something and he's trying to eat my cute little Kirby cheeks. They could have stopped there, but they say, no, there was an alien that invaded this world thousands of years ago, and the people of this world used its power in order to go to a new world, and this world was left behind with this alien, and the alien took over the beast. So now you gotta run down a hallway attacking this invasive species from another world. Oh, you beat that, but nope, you're still not done. It takes your best friend in order to combine into the ultimate life form, and now it's up in the sky in the very top of a skyscraper, and you have to fight Becto-Elphalus. And then you finally beat him, leaving Kirby to suck this giant wart off of his back, like... But nope, nuh-uh, they said, you know what, you're gonna turn into a semi and just... Look, Kirby games continue to impress with every new installment. I just wish that other Nintendo games would actually follow up after this, because there's just nothing that's better than a Kirby ending. Well, most Kirby endings, at least.